2013 BMW 535xi, and we're doing a valve cover and oil filter housing. We're gonna need an oil filter too. We'll get in here in deep and show you where the leak is. One of the main concerns the customer had was oil smell burning, and you can see on the exhaust further down. If you can zoom in real quick, all that is oil, and you can smell it burning while driving. So we're gonna get this valve cover off and replace the gasket. And I also got a new valve cover. I'll tell you one thing about it: it won't crack like this one. Okay, here's the old valve cover to show you how bad the gasket is. You just hear it cracking. That's just brittle. Look at that. That's a very bad gasket. It's supposed to be rubbery and soft, almost to this sense. And just to show you how bad that leak was, look at like that fresh oil pool, especially back here. That's just actively leaking. Look at it glisten. All right, I'm gonna clean all of this up. And this snap-on scraper I just purchased, and this thing works wonders. Just take a look at this. So you get a clean surface all the way down to the back. All back together, no more leaks. This active leak is back here, and this is good to go. 155 with aluminum valve cover. Next leak on these BMWs is the oil filter housing gasket. You can see oil leaking from this seam right here. Also, this oil filter cap probably has a bad seal because it was actively leaking. You could just see it leaking down the body. So we're gonna change these two gaskets. Well, actually three. 1, 2, and 3. Removal of the oil cooler, and you could just see how much oil was dripping past onto this coolant hose. This is definitely gonna make this hose brittle and break down. And you can see here is where it's leaking. It's very flat on this surface, very flat. So coolant oil is just leaking down here. Here is the second gasket. You can just see how flat it is. And you'll see the difference right here. That's another major leak, which is why it's leaking all the way down here. Another sign of where all the oil is leaking from. Clean this up real quick. Okay, we got this area nice and clean. I already can see the difference in how this gasket sits on the filter housing, raised as a wall for oil to not go through. Always good to clean the area where the oil was leaking so that it won't be mistaken for another leak if anybody else sees this vehicle. So no oil leaking here anymore. Again, you can see the difference it makes with the new gasket, how much more raised it is out of the fitting for the gasket. So therefore, when the cooler is on, there's definitely be this wall here to block any oil to be leaking. Just remember how flat it was before. So here we go. We'll give this a cleaning to make sure we get a good clean contact. Okay, we got in as much as I could get off. Clean the ducts and put it on. I'm gonna replace this oil cap. Totally disintegrated, springs, pieces just totally broken, and it was leaking at the seam. Seal. Got a new cap, and while we were at it, did an oil change special. We changed this engineer filter, and we'll be topping off with the 0W30. Good practice to fill up the oil filter housing with some oil so we don't get a dry start. I cleared up the oil leak from the bottom of the oil filter. more leaks.